Welcome to the sixth episode of the Nonstop Podcast with Pooja, and with me I have the very lovely Emily. So a little backstory: Emily is my fitness trainer, and we met at the gym.
We did indeed.
we did, and she gave us the hardest glute workout with such a smile on her face, and I instantly know I needed to get this girl on my podcast. So I went on a little check out of her socials, and I realized she's not just the strong woman that she is at the gym, but she also is a little bit of beauty with brains and a bit of and she does a bit of insightful work, and I'm so excited that you're with me, Emily.
Aww.
So welcome to my
Thank you so much. I'm so happy to be here. It's very exciting. Yeah, you did well in that class. I pushed you hard.
Yeah, so she was impressed. She said, "Okay, I mean, I'm going to trust this stranger and come to this podcast." Yeah.
Well, of course, but your energy and how lovely you were in approaching me and about the podcast, and it just strong women, and I'm all about that. So it's very exciting.
I think I was pretty timid. I just went up to her. I'm like, I have this podcast. It's very new.
Oh,
please.
No, I think that you were very, knew what you wanted and you went for it, and that was a strong woman. So
yeah. Okay, so less about me and more about you. So Emily, you do so many things, and I was like, okay, where do I start? So I think I will start with the obvious, from where I know you from. So you are a fitness trainer, a country singer, a model, and then there's so much more, I'm sure. But also, you are a wonderful human being that do support like a lot of mental health issues, and you're very vocal about it, which is pretty splendid. And I think
Thank you.
so. So let's start with how you were also a pro athlete slash
runner. I wouldn't say pro. I was a runner back in the day.
Yeah. Okay.
But there's a lot to unpack. I know I do a lot and I enjoy a lot, and I think that just comes with my personality. I just have a little bit of ADHD as well, so I feel like I have my fingers in a lot of pies. It keeps me going.
Yeah.
It keeps me moving, and it keeps me excited.
Yeah. So let's start off maybe with your country singing journey, because I think that's the most real part of you, because we've had a little of dressing room discussions, and I see that you are so passionate about it, and every time every time someone comes in and I see this instant smile on your face when you put yourself out there as I sing. So what does singing mean to you? When did you start? How did you get into singing?
Well, I guess this is the perfect one to start with, because singing is my day one.
Yeah.
So that's my passion.
Yeah.
And that is something that I will hopefully now get more into.
Yeah.
So where we start, my gosh, I started singing basically when I started walking. A long time ago when I was tiny. And I guess you just never know if you're actually good or people are saying that you are. And I remember being in little nursery school, being in 5 or 6, and always being picked for the talent shows and always being on stage and loving that, and my parents coming to watch and being a bit like, oh God, she's so loud and she's so confident. And just basically being a bit of a show off when I was younger. And then I don't know, it just kind of grew, and I guess the more people say that you're good at something, the more you kind of give it. I don't know, I just feel like I found the passion, I loved it, and I used to do karaoke and stuff when I was younger, and then I went to uni and didn't do anything to do with music. So I was always in a choir or the plays, and I did dance, but I never knew in 15 years ago that you could actually pursue singing. So I did textiles and fashion, because I always knew that I wanted to be kind of around theatre and stage, and it was always something I loved. And then I just decided after uni to just go for drama school.
Wow.
And I was like, I just went for it. I auditioned for a bunch and I got into a few, and I went to the Oxford School of Drama, and I did musical theatre. And it was an amazing experience, and I honestly wouldn't change it for the world. It really taught me a lot. Discipline, not to take life too seriously, not to take yourself too seriously. I think that was the main point that they like to get across in drama school. You kind of have to, you turn up and you're a blank canvas. You have to wear all black, you're not allowed makeup, hair has to be scraped back. You're kind of a blank slate. And it was great. And you do the most ridiculous things at drama school, as I'm sure if anyone's listening that's been to drama school, they can.
So what is one of those ridiculous things that you've done at drama school?
Like pretending to be an animal for a day, for a whole day. Yeah. I remember we got hypnotized into being animals. This hypnotherapist came in and he just did this thing and we all kind of went into it and they filmed us. They obviously had permission, our consent, and I was a lion. And watching it back after coming out of that and watching how your body is moved and how you actually become this animal it was just wild. It was wild, but just that's one thing, and then improvisation and just, I don't know, sitting around in circles and moving and making weird sounds and just being children, I think. And it was amazing. And then I went and did a bachelor at the Academy of Contemporary Music. So after I finished drama school, I went and got a full degree in music and singing and vocals and performance, which again was quite great. And then that's where the country kind of thing started. So my best friends from the academy, we all were into country music, and I think that comes from my mum. Listening to lots of Dolly Parton growing up.
No shame there.
And the Pistol Annies and all of that. Yeah. And there's absolutely no shame. Dolly, she's amazing.
Yeah.
And I had this connection with this group of girls that was on the same songwriting class course as me. And we were like, should we start a band? We're going to start a band.
Yeah, let's just start a band,
As you do at uni, you just start a band, and especially at music school. Yeah. And we did. We were in a band for around 2 years. We were called the Ivies, and we were like a 3-piece harmony group, but country music. So we did lots of country covers, and we wrote our own music, and that was where the country music kind of came about. And then I moved to London after that, and was in and out of some plays and some shows and worked with a few artists, became an artist myself, got into the wrong hands, wrong management team, wanted to change me and make me, I'm naturally blonde.
Ooh.
And at the time they wanted me to be this kind of blonde, poppy kind of thing, that the person that I wasn't.
Like a typecast,
Like a typecast. Yeah. They wanted me to be that kind of person, and that's just not who I am. So I rebelled, and I kind of went off and did my own thing for a bit, and then unfortunately COVID happened, and I had to give that up. But now I'm back into music, and I actually think it was getting to a point, because I'd done it for so long, that I was getting a bit overwhelmed by it and the pressure of it, and I started to not love it. I think it became less of a passion and more of a chore, because it was like, right, this needs to happen and it needs to happen soon, and I've got pressure and all of this and blah, blah, blah. And so I think the best thing that could have happened was that I took 2-3 years out, and now I'm back, baby.
Wow.
I'm writing music. I'm working with some producers within the next few months, hopefully getting a single and EP released in a few months. And it's my own stuff, and it's funky, and it's country, and it's just everything that I love to do. And it's less now about what people think, because I feel like in my early 20s I was so concerned about what people thought about me. And now it's more about, it's not that I don't care, but it's like I care less about what people think, and I'm doing this for me. This is the music that I love, that I want to do, and if you like it, fantastic, and if you don't, it's okay, listen to something else.
Well, you said so much.
I know, sorry, I just went on and on.
No, but I think that, Well, when I do speak to you, I mean, you're the sixth guest, and every guest of mine has been some interest of mine, and my in my very short span of life, the things that I have liked to do, things that I've been interested in. And with you, I just feel like you're somebody that went after all the dreams that I had. But I just picked up to do something that's more intellectually stimulating. But I was also the kid that just went out to the stage, and I felt I was the most comfortable on stage. I had a different personality. When the minute I'm on the stage, I was very confident, and my parents were, and my brother was dirt embarrassed. They were like,
so you understand?
Yeah, and every restaurant that I've ever been in, they're like, why are you so dramatic? And I wanted to do it all. I wanted to do singing, I wanted to do dancing, I wanted to do theater. Of course, with many other reasons, in today's time, it's not as bad as it was like 10 or 15 years ago when we were at school, or, when a certain kind of looks, or like, back in India, there's still a lot of racial discrimination, whether we admit it or not, and things like that. But in today's time, everybody gets to be whatever they want to be. And I think it's so interesting that you get to do that. And but I have so many questions that I wanted to ask, but I couldn't.
You're also like, you get it, you get that, you love the stage. Like my friends always say that I'm like so animated.
Yeah.
But I'm taking it as a compliment.
Yeah.
Because I wouldn't want to be any other way, and I feel like you understand that, being on stage and being dramatic, like your family would say. Yeah. My parents would be like the same. You're so loud.
Yeah.
Shh.
Yeah. Yeah, but it's also really inspiring to see somebody go after it, and like just be like, you know what? Because I think when you grow up with so many issues, and it's I'm sure it's much worse today with a lot more internet. But then you grow up with body consciousness, you grow up with so much insecurities, and then there's a bunch of other things, and then is my voice the right thing for singing? Is my face the right thing for acting? And all of that that goes on with it. But I want to go on to digging the more fun parts to get to get the listeners to like truly enjoy what they can learn from you. So you said you had to do animals at like drama school, and like I just wanted to understand, like, because I was a tree once before I was in a Shakespeare play at school.
I was a tree.
Yeah, you were a tree. We were all been a tree. It's okay. Not everyone's the fairy. It's some are the tree as well. But I was a very confident tree. I
have no doubt.
Yeah, I was so proud of being a tree, and I'm sure. I just wanted to go, the process behind the drama school. Like, if I was to ask you, okay, now which animal would you be for your present state of mind? What would you say, and what would you emote?
Oh, that's a difficult question. I feel like I would still probably be a lion. I feel like I would. I feel like my personality is quite, like we were saying, loud and confident, but also I can be timid and I can be shy, and I feel like I'd be a lion still. I think that would... I guess you don't choose your character. So when I was doing that at drama school, it's not that we were saying that the teacher was like, right, you're going to be this and you're going to be that. It was your character that came out of what animal you were. Yeah. And I still do believe that I would be that. I do feel very strong, and I do feel very confident, and yeah.
And it's just some things can't be ripped off you, right? And one of that is personality traits. Like you can try work on it for the better, but then there are certain personality traits that just sticks with you. Yeah. It's really wonderful to hear that. And also, like, going back a little bit to music school. So I tried getting into classical music in India. Wow. So we had a very different process. For instance, you needed to learn all the the basic levels, and then the tones, and I was always an alto, which is like in a choir, it's the very, very, it's a very bass voice. But then of course I cracked into it, and then I was soprano, and then I fell out of it. So that's very impressive. Yeah, but what did you feel like, other than the fact that you were like really a Spice Girl and you wanted to start a band, and you just thought, why not? Like, I am so cool. Like let's do a band. Like, I have girlfriends and I have a voice. Why not? So, what did music school teach you, and what's the process in music schools? Because I am sure that many people listening are in some capacity a singer. They're singers and by themselves with their partners. All of us can sing, yeah. So what's the process that goes behind it? What do you feel?
To get into?
Yeah.
Well, I had to go through a bunch of auditions. I guess I already had the drama school behind me. And that was a completely different kind of audition process, because the drama school that I went to, I auditioned for the musical theatre part, so I had to do acting, dancing and singing, of which is something I kind of always have done. But that was like a whole day of auditions, and it was quite scary. And I remember my parents driving me, because it was in Oxford, so my parents driving me all the way up to Oxford, and me being so nervous, because it was like the first one that I auditioned for, and I've never auditioned for anything like that before. I mean, this was a long time ago now as well.
Yeah, I'm just curious. I'm going to cut you right in, because I have a very nice question to ask. So what was your first audition? What did you do?
Oh my gosh. I did Edelweiss from The Sound of Music, which is sung by a man. Have you heard of that?
No, but I would love if you do. If you do 2 seconds of that for me.
The pressure.
No pressure. No.
Edelweiss, Edelweiss. Every morning you greet me, tall and bright, clean and white. You look happy to meet me. Blossom of snow, may you bloom and grow, bloom and grow forever. Edelweiss, Edelweiss, bless my homeland forever.
Oh my God, Emily!
I would be singing here, so I have
No, but I mean, I don't mean to catch you off your guard, but then I was truly like, I just wanted like a little sniff of it, and when we meet about, we're confident girls, and she's like, boom, I would have had lines, not just one, but I had goosebumps throughout.
Oh,
I truly mean it, and I think it's very special. Yeah, I'm sure when you were singing, you remembered yourself there, and you immediately went there, and you were like this very confused girl, but
that was weird, because I haven't sung that song since that audition.
Oh wow!
So I was trying to even remember the words.
So I feel special that you're doing it.
Anyone that knows that song, I think I got a few words wrong. So please, be kind to me.
I'm sure they're going to be very kind to you. Yeah. But I think it's incredible. I'm sure that a lot goes into vocal training. Yeah. So can you just give a quick, what really goes into that? Because
I guess vocal warm-ups. There's a very funny story about my voice, is that I actually have vocal nodules, which is why I'm also an alto, which is why I have quite a husky low voice. That's kind of where my voice is set. So before I actually got into drama school, well, I didn't even know I had nodules, but sorry, on my audition, after I did that song, my 2 coaches, the guys that were taking the audition, said that I did great. Obviously, I didn't know that I got in until a few weeks later when I got the letter, which was one of the happiest moments of my life. But on the letter, they said that we really want to have you on this course, but we need you to go and do some vocal
training.
Vocal training.
Yeah.
Vocal training, because you have vocal nodules.
Yeah.
And so first off, we need to send you to hospital. We need to send the camera down, check what's going on, and we need to get rid of those, because it makes sense now. Like growing up as a kid, I did not train because I just kind of sang, and it was that and whatever.
It was loud, yeah.
But I can project my voice quite loudly, and obviously when I was going out, I was speaking above crowds. I was going out with friends, and I was screaming and I would lose my voice within a night, and I wouldn't have my voice back for 3-4 days. and it was like this. It was so, so bad. And so they helped me through that. So they completely trained me in everything that I did, like loads of like breathing exercises, vocal warm-ups, lots of massaging, like lymph nodes, and learning about that, and sending me into speech therapy, which I never thought that I would need, but how I would speak was through my throat, whereas now I speak through my chest and my diaphragm, which is how you learn as well when you sing. You speak through your diaphragm, and just, I guess loads of scale work on the piano, lots of warm water, lots of steaming. That was my favourite thing to do, because through drama school I still would lose my voice quite often, and I would have to go on voice frets, and it was so frustrating because the rest of the class were singing, and then they were in the choir and ensemble, and I was like, I'm desperate, but I got given a notepad with a pen, and I just had to write what I was thinking and like my thoughts throughout the day. Like, I wasn't allowed to speak. Whispering is even worse for your voice when you've lost your voice, because you put more strain on the throat. Just learning all of that kind of stuff. I mean, this is a long time ago. This was like 13 years ago now, so like I haven't thought about it in a while, so it's actually nice to talk about it. It's been a long time.
I think it's very interesting. So what really went into the examination aspect of it? Did they figure out that you did have you had like because I think that in music there's a term of the superficial voice and your actual voice. So
head voice and chest voice.
Yeah.
So I was using my head voice. My head voice has always been my chest voice. My chest voice has always been very strong. It's my head voice that has always been a bit weak, and it would break, and it would, so the process of that was about 3 months before I had to start drama school. They sent me to a speech therapist every week, and that my mum would drive me to, bless her. And again, just checking that they were there. I had a few cameras put down every month just to check. And again, the vocal warm-ups and the scale work and the breathing exercises and the giving up on some things like going out and partying, and at that age as well, I was 19, 18, and that's kind of all I wanted to do at that age. So I had to give that up, and I was like, no, this is important to me. I'm going to focus on that, and if I don't, then I'm throwing away an amazing opportunity. So I had to grow up a bit quicker as well, and then obviously going to drama school, like I said, was just the best experience, and it really helped me. I think I was always very confident, but I think it helped with that. It just brought out my confidence. It brought my personality out more.
Yeah, I think we can speak on this for days, but I need to like definitely like switch the topic a little bit, and also like get you to talk a little bit more on some of your best modeling experiences. Where have you traveled? And I also wanted to know some of the theaters that you've done, because I also know that you've done some films, yeah?
I haven't done films.
Okay.
No, I was in a play called Madison Avenue, which was a musical theatre play, which was so fantastic, and it was like an immersive experience, and it was taking over the Great Gatsby immersive experience. So we were rehearsing, and it was amazing, and it was like as you come down into the theatre, it was like you were in this 1950s jazz club.
Yeah.
And everyone, it was incredible, and everyone had to come in attire, and it was an immersive experience. So it was like you blink and you're there, you're transported back. And I was part of the jazz band there, so I was singing as people came in, and then I would go into the crowd and pretend to be a character, and every night was different. Yeah. So I got to be any character I wanted, and no one knows how the story's going to play out because it's completely improvisation.
Wow.
So it was very, very, very fun, and that was just before COVID, so we were doing that for a few months, and then we had to...
And where did you show this? Like, did you show it in London, or were you at Broadway?
No, Broadway, I wish. Soon, hopefully. No, it was London, it was central London.
Yeah.
But,
Well, it sounds so incredible. Like, I mean, of course, like as you speak, I'm truly honored that you are in it, because we've had like really upcoming people, and we've had younger pro athletes, we've had like established lawyers, and we've had mountaineers on the show before. So yeah, every angle is very different, and I think that your next angle also is very different. You got into sports.
I did.
Take two. Yeah.
Take two. The thing is, they all of my things that I do have a link, and they all kind of overlapped.
Yeah.
Throughout my whole life.
Yeah.
But sports. Okay. I've always been sporty.
Okay.
I grew up with a dad who was like a footballer, so yeah, I had that, and I was obsessed with football growing up. I at school was on the girls' football team at little school, and then I went to secondary school, and there was no girls' football team, and I was like, hang on a minute, this can't happen.
Yeah.
So I was on the boys' football team for a while, and I would travel to different schools with all the boys. And people were like, kids being like, why she's a girl? Why is she on your team? Blah, blah, blah. So I was like, no, you know what? I'm going to start my own girls' football team. So I petitioned for it.
Emily really is something missing in your life. She comes up with a band, a football team.
I mean, this was secondary school, so I was young, but I knew what I wanted, and I went for it. Yeah. And we did. We played throughout the whole of school, and it was super fun, and I loved football.
Wow.
Haven't played much anymore.
Yeah.
But then also at school, I got really, really into athletics. So sports day was like my favourite day of the year. I just loved it. I was always in there. I was always in the 1500 race. I always did the 80 metre. So I did like the 80 metre sprint, and then I did the long distance, 1500.
Oh wow.
I enjoyed the long distance.
Yeah.
Always the relay.
Yeah.
And then always high jump. So I loved that. That was my thing. And then I don't know. I just got noticed, and then we took it to county. So I was then running for Hampshire for a bit, and then I had a knee injury. Yeah. And actually, I'm back into running now, and it's fine. But I kind of think it's a good thing now, because I then discovered the gym. I discovered weight training, and that kind of brings me to where I am now, about training in my gym and being a PT. I guess without that, I would have probably carried on doing athletics, and maybe wouldn't have taken it further than that, because obviously modelling and music has kind of taken over, and I would have really done it as a hobby.
Mm-hmm.
But I think training in the gym and learning about the body and how it moves, and I think that was a massive step in the right direction of me becoming a personal trainer.
I think often, like when you do speak to people, there's a lot of boxes, and most often is it, are you into arts? Are you into creativity? Are you into sports? Are you the rest of the society of like, are you like into nerdy studying category of like more on the intellectual side? Or then there's the spiritual side. You seem to have a little bit of all, and you seem so approachable. Figuratively, I've known you for a little bit now, and I can say this with confidence that there's a lot of qualities in you that has really rounded you. I mean, for example, for the most serious stereotypical thing to think is, someone's into modeling, she's a singer, she's confident, okay, she's into the glitz and the glam, and for most people that they feel like, I have nothing in common to speak about. I can't hold a conversation with somebody, because this seems like a world that, that person really does not have, a fully rounded personality. But then you got into sports, and sports really changes you. There is a lot of dirt on your skin. There is a lot of things on your mind. You need to be that person that you truly envision to be in terms of a personality, because I truly believe that in sport, if you are not an ethical person, not a disciplined person, you can never be a sports person. So I feel like there's a lot of qualities in you that has truly made you,
It's very, very sweet to hear that. That's lovely to say. So thank you. That was really
so tell us that I just wanted to know that in terms of like now sport is such a huge part of your day. You are a fitness trainer as well, and you've also been an athlete in some capacity. So what went into it? What did you like training? And for people who want to get into sports, like what would you say is the quickest thing to pick up?
I feel like with sport, it's kind of, if you're half the battle is done if you enjoy it already.
Yeah.
I feel like like I said, I was always very athletic growing up. I've got an athletic build. I loved that, and I was always a bit of a tomboy as well. So I was always running about outside, and I would run around climbing trees and kicking a ball around, and would hang out with all the guys instead of the girls, and I would much rather do that. So I kind of always had that in me. So I would say, like, if you've got that in you, then you're halfway there. And I think that helps with the discipline as well, because if it's there and it's a passion, then it's not going to be a chore. Like the music thing I said, it's not a chore. You're not like, oh God, I have to do this today. It's, no, I get to do this today. This is exciting because it's something I love and it's something I'm passionate about. I would say a healthy diet is quite a big one when it comes to training, to be an athlete. I mean, funnily enough, I guess I'm just, with time and stuff, there's so much to talk about and unpack, but funnily enough, I did High Rocks 2 weeks ago, if you know what that is.
No.
It's like an athletic competition, and they do it at Kensington Olympia Stadium.
Okay.
And lots of people from all over compete.
Yeah.
And I'm just thinking for how I prepared for that.
Yeah.
And it was very, very intense. It's like CrossFit, but also weight. Yeah. And it was wild. And to prepare for it, I didn't have long to prepare for it because I only got told about a week before. Yeah. But immediately my brain went into, okay, this is how much I need to eat a day. This is how much I need to train. I need to be stretching. I need to be warming up. I can't overdo the training because then I'll be fatigued for when I have to do it. A lot goes into it, and then preparing yourself mentally as well. I like to meditate. I think that's really important. And giving yourself wind down and giving yourself some alone time to try and get into a nice headspace, I think. And I get quite anxious. I get very anxious. Yeah. So learning breathing exercises for anxiety, or because it can be quite nerve-wracking when you're about to do something like a high rocks or a race, or I don't know, a fitness competition, or it's a nerve-wracking thing. So I think all those things is what I would do to prepare, and I think that's what if anyone is willing to do that as well.
Yeah, I've been into CrossFit maybe like 5 years of my life. And I started it and I fell in love with it because it's extremely competitive, and of course it didn't take me to the places that I should be proud of, because I enjoyed myself quite badly, and it's a bit of a struggle to just recoup from there, and because I am very petite and I am I look timid, and I mean there's only so much that you can push in terms of weights, because there are some sports such as CrossFit where it's mostly depending on what's your PR rather than what your body can push through, But yeah, I mean, it's really interesting that everybody has their own preparation process, and I think food is such a huge part of it that we kind of overlook a lot more.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, just a quick rapid question. So if there's one part of your body that you love training, I mean, if there's just one, and you would say that this over anything else, which one would it be?
I can't believe I'm about to say this, and anyone that knows me that's listening to this will laugh. My back.
Ooh.
I love training back and shoulders.
Yeah.
I don't know why. I feel I hold a lot of, from my anxiety background, I hold a lot of tension in my shoulders and my back. And when I train my back, I can feel myself, my posture, I feel taller, I feel stronger. I also feel like a lot of people say, oh, women shouldn't train back, or women shouldn't have big arms or big shoulders. And I'm like, I kind of want to be like, well,
yeah, we need that.
I'm actually going to do the opposite to what you say, because it makes me feel strong, it makes me feel good, and I don't care what you think. And women can do whatever they want. Yeah. I feel like a lot of people would probably think that I would say booty and legs. I do a lot of booty and leg classes, as you know. Yeah. And I do enjoy that, don't get me wrong, but I do find it hard to push myself to train legs.
Yeah, yeah.
As much as I know it's necessary, a lot more effort has to go into me training legs. I have to mentally prepare myself for that.
Yeah.
Rather than shoulders and backs, I'm like, okay, no, I got that today. I got this. I know what I'm doing. I'm like in the flow.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, now I have to touch upon one of the topics that I really wanted to touch upon is that one of my final topics, I might say, is that so I'm reading this book, Happy Sexy Millionaire. One of my favorite quotes from the author is that it's not what happened to you, it's how you dealt with it. That's what defines you. And I'm sure you've been pretty vocal on your socials about like just dealing with mental health. I mean, and I know as somebody who seems or comes off as confident as well, there's a lot that goes down beneath it, and a lot of people do understand that we have a very different mechanism of dealing with it. We do not shut down. I mean, I feel like I cannot shut down. But then there's also a toxic, ambitious level of keep going and keep pushing. And then those things will like, kind of like fulfill the aspect of anxiety, overthinking. Mm-hmm. So tell us, what did you go about and how did you, and what's the most, like rejuvenating or the most liberating part about talking about it?
Wow. Okay. It's only been the past few years that I've been able to feel open about talking about it. And it makes me feel stronger because I've always had other people be like, me too, or I understand you. And it makes you feel less alone. And also it's all a weight, like I said, I hold tension here. Yeah. And it was like when I first mentioned it to others, or like I just remember when I first told people about my mental health on Instagram, and I remember I didn't do it for getting a response, but I was so nervous about doing it, and I just kind of thought, you know what, I want to help other people, so if I do this, then maybe someone else will find confidence in also doing this, because like you said, I'm a model and I look like I have everything together and I look like I don't care about what I look like and I look like I'm extremely happy with what I look like, and I think, no. It's been the complete opposite most of my life, and I've had to become this person, this confident person, and love how I look through my experiences. But it's also helped, like you said, by speaking about it and speaking out loud, because I then have had people messaging me being like, oh my god, like I felt that way and I didn't think that you would feel that way, but now it makes me feel not better in a bad way, but it makes me feel like I can relate to you, and also I can then talk about it more. And I just feel like there's such a stigma on mental health, and I just feel like it shouldn't be. I do feel like we've kind of come into a movement now where it is more accepting to talk about it, and I think that also helped when I first came out, because I saw other people and I was like, wow, they're so confident in doing that. I want to be able to do that. I want to be able to share my story, and if I can do it, then that means someone else can, and that may help someone, and that may help someone else, and then
I think
so. It's been a long journey. Yeah, it's been a long journey, especially with modeling as well. Yeah. Body positivity.
So what's the one quick thing that you would do if you were feeling a bit low, and what's the one thing that would snap you?
For anxiety? Yeah. If I'm going, I suffer with panic attacks, and they can come on at any time. Yeah. And so I would immediatly do the 4x4 breath rule, as everyone knows. But also, if you're near a very cold tap, cold water, if you're near ice, if you're near anything very, very cold, grab that immediately, put it on the back of your neck or on your wrists, and that just shocks your system, and it kind of brings you back down to earth. And I found that if I'm having a panic attack, and it does not happen very much anymore, it happens very, very, very rarely. It would happen a lot in my mid to late 20s when I was at my worst. I kind of would do that, and breathing. I also find that meditating, if you're anxious, I personally don't think that makes me feel any better, because then I'm creating space in my mind to then think about the fact that I'm so anxious. So I would say call a friend, or call a loved one, or just do something to distract yourself.
Yeah.
I think when you're anxious, I don't think going into your, meditating, or, I don't know, being by yourself and trying to calm your breath. And I'm like, no, I think being around people will help. And that's helped me. So that's what I would suggest.
Yeah. So, I mean, I'm sure we can talk through the day, through hard topics and through easy and fun ones, because I mean you're fabulous. So with that thought, I have to ask you my very cliche question that I do ask, but it is so nice that it opens up so many thought process to everybody. And what's your favorite book that you've ever read, which impacted you, and which is maybe one movie, TV show, something that changed your life? And I would also have a quick third question, which is, who's the one person that inspired you the most? Because you do so much and you can look up to so many people.
Wow, okay.
Yeah.
So, I actually got the book here today.
Oh.
My favourite book is Lost Connections by Johan Hari. It's actually about depression. And when I was going through that, it helped me a lot. It helped me a lot. It's more about, I mean, it's so hard, and I know these are quick questions, and it's so hard to answer these quickly, but I always assumed that my depression came from genetic, because it runs in the family. He talks about the fact that actually it's lifestyle, and it's the people that you surround yourself with, and it's the things that you're doing in life. And at that point in my life, I was in a very toxic relationship, and I had people around me that didn't bring out my best, and I was in jobs that I didn't really like, and I was scraping by and saying yes to everything and exhausting myself. And I kind of went through this book, and it taught me to get rid of all of that.
Whoa.
Yeah. And it's about creating connections with things that you actually care about and things that you love, to make a better life for yourself.
Yeah.
So I highly recommend that book even if you're not. I think it's very interesting. You might know someone that's going through mental health issues, and it's just being wiser about that to be able to help others. So favorite movie. Oh my gosh. This is the hardest. This is such a hard question.
I'm sure. Yeah.
I have so many movies. I will say I'm gonna go straight in with my first movie that impacted me, which was, it's called Spirit.
Ooh.
It's an animation. But the reason I loved it so much was I was 8 when it came out, and it was the first time that I'd heard Bryan Adams, who is one of my favourite singers, sing. He did the soundtrack for it, and also Hans Zimmer, who is my favourite composer. Yeah. And when I heard his voice, Bryan Adams' voice, when I was 8, it kind of inspired me to pursue music as an artist, as well as in musical theatre and on stage, because his voice was so different to like anything I'd ever heard. I was so used to listening to like pop music and like bands, but hearing this voice that had a rocky, husky, unusual tone with a powerhouse, he inspired me to become a musician, a singer. So that was, and also that film I watched as a kid with my family, with my brother and my mum and dad, and we'd watch it over and over again because we all loved it. So I just have good, happy memories about that.
Yeah, it's great. So your final question: Who is that one person that? I mean, it need not be.
I would say.
Yeah.
I'm going to say 2 people.
Yeah.
And I'm going to say my parents.
Yeah.
I'm very, very lucky to have the family that I have. And they have always been extremely supportive of everything that I do. When I pick up something new, they, instead of going, another thing, they're like, no, you go for it. You can do this. We have faith in you. They've supported me, mentally and physically supported me, and they've also inspired me, because my mum and dad have always just worked for everything that they've wanted, and they've been a team. And my mum especially, she's always worked. And just growing up with a very strong mother who makes her own money, and she just inspired me. They both did. I have the best parents.
Well, I think that's a wonderful note, and this girl has many faces. And Emily, it's my pleasure that you did accept it and did give this girl who is not really over the top a chance, and that says a lot about you. And you have so many sides to you, and I've learned so much more about you, and I'm very, very, very certain that your single is going to hit all the charts and that whatever you do is going to be as positive and beautiful and confident as you are.
Oh,
And with that, thank you for joining. And
thank you for having me. It's been so lovely. It's been so lovely, honestly. I'm honoured to be here.
Okay, thanks.